Hi guys, it's Ophelia, and recently my Reaching Your Academic Potential teacher had given me an assignment on what career you might want to do and do a little bit of research into it and put up a report. So I was asking for a little bit of extra credit, and she said instead of doing written or something, or instead of doing a PowerPoint, make a video. I've never done a video before, so I've decided to give it a try. So, when I looked at what I wanted to be, I had two options. I wanted to either become a columnist or a video game writer. When I did more research, I realized that there was much more information on being a video game writer than a columnist, since the entertainment business is so huge now. So that's what I've decided to go, put my research in, just because I had so much more stuff that I could pull out. So when I looked at my stats for being a video game writer, it sounds just like it sounds. You make the storyline and all the details and all the missions for every single detail of the game. So that means you work with every single person in the development business. That doesn't mean you're the boss, though. That hardly means you're the boss. You work under the game developer, and then when the game's finally getting started and you're working and trying to create the storyline, all that stuff, you're working with a small team with other writers, so you aren't alone. You're not writing this all by yourself. You're working with the game designer and a creative director and so on. And then after you've made, your basic general storyline, then you go into everyone else, all the nitty-gritty people who are making the game and, doing the specs and the graphic designing and whatnot. And you make a lot of changes. So you have your basic game and, this is what I want to do, and here's your storyline. And they say your graphic designer maybe comes up to you, or your character designer comes up to you and says, so you didn't tell me how this character looks very much, or, tell me how this character looks, or, what about how this character acts, or how he moves, or something. So you have to have a lot of detail in what you're writing. So even though you have your basics, and you're very proud of your basics and whatever, you have to make a lot of changes when it comes to working with everyone else. When I say working with everyone else, that also includes a lot of teamwork. It's a huge team with a lot of people, so you need a lot of teamwork. You're not doing this alone whatsoever. You're not even writing the script alone. So it's not your one deal. You work in an office with everyone else, and you're close together. It's not a cubicle, I would say, but you are working with a lot of people. When I'm saying a workplace, it doesn't mean you're working like, say, in a house or a big company or something. You're mostly working in the studio of who's producing it. So studios like Rockstar, who I put out Grand Theft Auto and Bully, are my two favorites. That's what I mean by studios of who's producing it. You'll mostly work in their offices and whatnot. When I looked at the salary, it was $39 million annually, which was more than I expected. So I'm happy about that. All your coworkers are mainly everyone. You will literally work with everyone, maybe besides the marketing people, I would assume. But you are working with everyone who is working on the game, and they are coming to you with questions. You're the one who's giving up most of the details, right, by this time, which means, again, you have to be very detailed. I really wanted to do this career because I love to write. Absolutely love to write. And I love video games. I've been playing since I was 5 with my first Pokemon game, and I have fallen in love with video games, and they're my favorite. So that's mainly why I wanted to work on this. And the challenges, a lot of deadlines. You have very extremely strict deadlines that you have to go through and work with all these people, and it can be very stressful at times, is what I had researched. And my only challenge that I have to go over is very strict deadlines. I'm not a deadline kind of girl, so I have to work on that. But when I looked at like the overall picture of game writing, it was very attractive to me. That's what I love to do, and that, when I wanted to go into the gaming industry, I thought, okay, reviewer, game writer, and then the script writer. Reviewer was kind of iffy for me because it was like being a columnist, or working for a magazine or working for a newspaper, and it just, I don't know, it didn't interest me as much as actually making the games, because I've been playing these games all my lives and like reviewing them and thinking, I want to go deeper into it. I want to be part of making it, and that's really what I want to get into. So, yeah, basically. One of the questions was, since I am a sophomore, what skills do I need to learn in high school? And I've already said most of this. I need to work on my teamwork, definitely, my deadlines, and my attention to detail, which is fairly obvious. The other thing I got was that while I'm here, maybe while I'm in college and still while I'm in high school, I need to study other games. So just keep playing more games and go through, like, the narrative components of what, that game writer might have done, or, what was interesting about that storyline twist, or, just see how deep a game writer really can go into these games. When I looked more on the process of becoming a video game writer, there was a lot of stuff about, what majors you should get and what classes you should go in for college, and most of them were all writing. That's true. But a lot of them said, being, maybe having a year or even a semester in, like, code or in graphic design, or something that you can, like, easily communicate with the people in your teamwork, which I thought that was kind of interesting. It also said that you can't just apply to be a game writer. You have to do an entry level, and you have to, you have to do the hard, gritty works before you can go into the top, into the really big people who are making the game. So I looked more into that, and there was stuff like the copyists and the editor, and, all that stuff just didn't interest me. The one thing that did, though, was game testing. And I'd been interested in it not only because, you get to play the games that aren't even released yet. That's pretty sick. Not only that, but I was looking at it, and it says the major activities is that you have to look for all the bugs and all the glitches, and, maybe something that really annoys you during the game, or really go in very deep into the game, and then write maybe an essay, or write down stuff that might interfere with gameplay when it's released, and then communicate with the staff who was making the game. So, you saw something in a character that you really didn't like, or not didn't like, but maybe the portions were a bit off, or something was wrong with the graphic design in this one part, and you can go to the, codist or the graphic designist and say, oh, hey, I saw this, was this, do you mean to do this? Can this be fixed? And if there's a huge bug that, easily is totally reasonable, and you can go up to and say, yeah, this isn't good, you might want to change this before you let it out. So it puts a lot of attention into detail, which you remember if I said before, you have to have a lot of attention into detail when you're writing for games. So I chose this because you have to have a lot of attention, and that's going to sharpen that for later. So it'll also help me learn a little bit more about people who are, like I said, the codists and the graphic designers and the music editors and all that. So that's basically what I have been researching and what I hope to go into. My whole goal is to go into an art academy and work on my creative writing and go a little bit into script writing, hopefully. And I wanted to get into a little bit to psychology, trying to get more of the, I love mystery games and I love the way people think. So, the recent game I've been playing is Hotel Dusk, Room 215, and I love the way that you say you have two options and you can, push someone to tell you something, which might eventually get you kicked out of the hotel, or you could say something, really sweet and sugary to, basically stay there. But I love the way that they put personality into the game, into other people's characters, so it's not just a bland character or whatnot, or, some big barbarian saying, I'm gonna kill people, which I found a lot in the upcoming Skyrim, which I was not interested in the character depth of that whatsoever. But I love character depth, and that's why I want to go a little bit into psychology as well. And that's what I want to put into most of the video games that I might write. So, that is basically my overview of what I want to become later on. Questions, comments? Love you guys. Bye.
ショート寸前胸が引き裂かれそう何度も声を上げてブレイカー